Hello and welcome class 9 to biology class. In previous lesson, fundamental unit of life, you studied about the functions and structure of cell, in which you studied that cell perform all the life processes, and in unicellular organisms all life processes can be done by one cell only, but it is not possible in multicellular organisms because they have complex body design. All multicellular organisms are having specific body designs, in which some of them are tissue level, some are organ and organ system level. So it's not possible that every cell can do all the tasks. So there is a division of labor in the multicellular organisms, and a group of cells combine together to perform the specific task, and this group is called as tissue. So this second lesson is about tissue, second lesson of biology, and otherwise it is lesson number 5. Let us see more about tissue. Let us see the definition of tissue and how we can define tissue. A group of cells that are similar in structure and work together to achieve a particular function forms a tissue. So these group of cells combine together and achieve a specific task, and that is tissue. Importance of tissue. Let us see the importance of tissue in any organism. So the tissues become organized to form organs and then organ system. That means like tissues, similar cells makes tissue, and in that way like epithelial tissue, glandular tissue, these all together form organs like stomach, like digestive glands, etc., like small intestine, large intestine, and then all these organs combine together to form organ system, and that is digestive system. So in that way all the tissues, organs, and these organ systems, different organ systems form any organism. In different organ systems we all know about, like respiratory system, circulatory system, urinary system, that is excretory system also, and reproductive system, and in that way any organism is formed. Second is workload of individual cell has decreased. A specific task, if it is done by only one cell, it has to do more work. So all cells together are performing the same task, so that one cell's workload is decreased, then all together they are doing the work. And then after, formation of tissues cause division of labor in multicellular organisms. Like division of labor, like different systems are there in our body. We all know, we can correlate it with our body only. Like I had given the example of digestive system, different organs like stomach, small intestine, large intestine, different glands like liver, pancreas, etc. All these salivary glands, all these organs combine together to form one system, digestive system. And these all cells have their specific tasks. Glands only secrete digestive juices so that they can digest our food. So in that way glands are not doing any other task, and in that way digestive system is formed. Respiratory system is totally different from digestive system. The cells of respiratory system is related to only respiration, and the cells of digestive system is related to only digestion. So in that way the labor is divided into specific systems. And let us compare plant tissue with animal tissues. And plant tissues are related to fixed habit. That means, as we know that plants are fixed on their own position, they do not move from one place to the other, and the tissues in plants are accordingly to protect them from injuries and diseases. Animal tissues are related to locomotion, as we know that animals can move from one place to the other. They do locomotion, and so that they need to move, and animals have the tissues which help them to move, and they so that they can move from one place to other, to hide them, to search in search of food, etc. And in that way the tissues in animals are like helping in locomotion. Plant tissues, most of the plant tissues are dead and they are supportive tissues, and in animal tissues living tissues are more abundant. Means in animals most of the cells of the tissues are live cells, and in plants most of the cells are dead cells, so that they can support mechanical support and protection, etc. And because the plants cannot move, so that they support them. And plants need less energy, as the motion, locomotion and movement is very less in plants, so that they need very less energy. And animals, they need more energy because they do locomotion, they move one place to the other, so that they need more energy as compared to the plants. And organization in plants is simple, means the body design of plant is very simple, and organization in animals is complicated, it is complex. Means the internal structure of animals, that is complicated, so that animal tissues are little complicated as compared to the plant tissues. Now let us see classification of plant tissues. Plant tissues are widely divided into two groups, meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. Meristematic tissue is the type of tissue or type of plant tissue which is having the capacity or ability of division. They can divide regularly, so that they help in growth to the plant. And permanent tissue, most of the cells of permanent tissue they are not able to divide further, they are fixed, and they are differentiated to perform a specific function. And meristematic tissue are again further divided into three: apical meristem, intercalary meristem, and lateral meristem. And permanent tissue, simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. Simple permanent tissue are parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, and complex permanent tissue are xylem and phloem. Let us see the characteristics of meristematic tissue. All the cells in this type of tissue are similar in structure and have thin cellulose cell wall. Each cell contains dense and abundant cytoplasm and a single large nucleus. Dense and abundant cytoplasm means more cytoplasm present in them, and nucleus is also little larger than the cells of other tissues, because they need to divide, so they need more cytoplasm and larger nucleus, so that it can be regularly activated and divide further. Vacuoles may or may not present. Generally, vacuoles are absent in meristematic tissue, because there is no need of vacuoles to store anything. And if vacuoles are found over there, then amount of cytoplasm become reduced. So for division they need more cytoplasm, so that vacuoles may or may not present. Cells are compactly arranged and intercellular space absent. That means space between two cells is not there. All the cells are compactly packed. In shape, cells may be spherical, oval, or rectangular. So that we all know that what are the shapes. Now, functions of meristematic tissue: mainly They have the ability to divide continuously and produce new cells for growth. And meristematic tissue found in root and shoot tips means the tip of the root or tip of the shoot that bring about increase in length of the plant, length of the root by root tips and length of the shoot by shoot tips. And lateral meristem, we also call it cambium, that bring about increase in girth of the plant. That is, जो प्लांट की चौड़ाई होती है, girth of the plant, that is circumference, is increased by lateral meristem. Yes, you can see all these cells. These are the cells of meristematic tissue. You are not able to see any of the space between all these cells. So as I told, there is no intercellular space between the cells, and the cells may be of rectangular shape, oval shape, or any of the shape. And what is the specific feature? That large nucleus and dense cytoplasm. This is thin cell wall and no space between these cells. That is the structure of the cells of meristematic tissue. Now over here we can see the types of meristems or types of meristematic tissue. On the tip, apical meristem is present. On the tip of shoot or root, both, the meristem which is present, that is called as apical meristem. This is the structure of a twig, and over here these are internodes of the twig, and over here this, and at the base of leaf. This type of meristematic tissue, that is called as intercalary meristematic tissue or intercalary meristem. Apical meristem increase length of the shoot or plant, and intercalary meristem increase the branches from the twig and then grow into new branches, and apical meristem again appear and it also increase in length. The last one, that is lateral meristem, which is present on the lateral surface of the plant, and that is also called as cambium, which increase girth of the plant, or we can call that circumference of the plant. So these are the three types of meristematic tissues. So let us see the description of types of meristems. And number one, apical meristem, as you saw in the diagram also, present in growth tips of root and stem. Apical meristem act as promeristem. Why we call it promeristem? Because other meristems derived from this meristem, and so that it is called as promeristem, and which is the primary meristematic tissue, and they help in increasing the length of the stem and root. Next is intercalary meristems. Intercalary meristem lie at the base of leaves and internodes on the twigs and help in growth of branches by adding primary tissue. They add primary tissue, new branches arise, again apical meristem form over there, and then those branches grow further. Then lateral meristem or cambium, it lie on lateral sides of stem and root and help to increase the girth of the stem or circumference of the stem or root. They act as secondary meristem because they arise later on, so that they are secondary meristem and arise from or derived from the promeristem, so that also they are called as lateral meristem. I hope you all understand this well.